Welcome to the NFL Week 10 Power Rankings episode here on That's Good Sports. I'm Brandon Perna, and every week I rank the top 10 NFL teams, and then I spin this little wheel to see which team gets cursed. Last week it selected the Chiefs, and they did nearly lose in primetime to a team that literally cannot throw a football. So I'll spin this tool of the devil at the end of the episode to see who gets cursed. We do have the Ravens, the Bengals, the Jets, the Patriots all on byes, so they will have a bye from the power rankings as well, which leaves the door wide open for three undeserving teams, as the Ravens, Bengals, and possibly Jets would have been on this week's list. So let's go and do it. Week 10 power rankings. That's good sports. Jumping right in at number 10, we've got the Chargers. Now, I didn't want to put you here, LA. You should really be on the injury reserve list. You are officially the most injured football team in the NFL, and you were still able to defeat the Atlanta Falcons. If you get healthy, you might be good, LA. I know for certain Austin Eckler is great, and Justin Herbert might be when his ribs are fully healed. What I thought was interesting was that you defeated the Falcons in the exact same manner with the exact same score as you did back in 2020, which leads me to believe you will miss the playoffs in the exact same way this year as you do every year. Number 9, the Giants. You play the Texans this week, New York, so I'm assuming we will all be singing your praises again after the Seahawks kicked your ass before the bye. I'm hoping the bye allowed Evan Neal to get healthy and that Daniel Jones can get something from his receivers. The injury to Daniel Bellinger was a huge blow to your air attack, considering he accounted for a third of Daniel Jones' touchdowns. I mean, that's just 2 receiving touchdowns, and Daniel Jones has 6 passing TDs, but still important. The good news is Bellinger could be back Week 11 after suffering a broken eye socket. Now just let me see one 300-yard passing performance from Daniel Jones, New York. That's all I want to see. Today's episode is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. If you want to test your skills against me in weekly fantasy private leagues, download the Underdog app or go to underdogfantasy.com and use my code THATSGOOD. There's a link below for this week's contest. I'll have the details in the description. But as soon as the league is full, the draft starts, and most will be 6 rounds. It's very simple. You just draft your team in my league, and whoever scores the most points that week wins. And as you can see with my 3 entries from last week, I was giving away money. 10th, 8th, and I did tie for 3rd place. If you want to use your brain, though, for different games like the Pick'em games and live in one of the qualifying states, you can win up to 20 times your money. Build a Pick'em entry with 2 to 5 players and guess higher or lower in stat totals for the week. Or pit 2 players' stats against each other in the Rivals contest. You just got to use my code THATSGOOD with the link below, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. Number 8. 49ers. Christian McCaffrey was a slam dunk acquisition, San Francisco. In one full game, he gave you 3 touchdowns, a rushing, a passing, and a receiving. All I want to see at this point is Deebo Samuel get 100% healthy, and then I want to watch opposing defenses try to stop 2 Swiss Army knives in Deebo and McCaffrey, while George Kittle quietly lurks in the shadows. As soon as I said you had the best defense in the league, everyone got hurt. Hopefully the bye week helps that. And even with the injuries, the 49ers still have the best run defense in the NFL, both in yards per carry, allowing just 3.4, and total yards given up at 693. Number 7, I've got the Seahawks. Hot damn, Seattle. Geno Smith, we're not even surprised that he saved your team. We expect him to be good every week. You now have the 4th highest scoring offense in the NFL with 26.8 points per game. You just gutted out a gritty win against a division rival to sweep the Cardinals, and nobody is completing a higher percentage of their passes than Geno, I age like vino. The Hawks are both top 10 in rushing and passing yards, and over the last 4 games, the defense is only allowing an average of 16.5 points per game, which would tie with the Broncos on the season for second best. Now compare that to the 30.8 points the defense allowed in the first 5 weeks, and that's one of the best improvements I've seen by a defense mid-season in recent memory. Number 6, the Cowboys. Dallas has a stingy defense that's allowing the 3rd fewest points per game. Dak and Tony Pollard made me believe in that offense, and now Jerry Jones is eyeing Odell Beckham Jr.? In hilarious fashion, though, Mike McCarthy returns to Green Bay with an elite defense to go against Aaron Rodgers and one of the shittiest offenses in the NFL. The only way you can fall in these rankings, Dallas, is if you don't beat the Packers by 3 touchdowns. On top of sucking, they are a very, very injured football team. Number 5, I've got Jeff Saturday. I gotta throw Jeff Saturday in here, okay? When a high school football coach gets the call to the big leagues, that mother licker is exerting some real power. Do I think this interim hiring is batshit crazy? Yes, and yes. That said, Saturday played in the league at the highest level for a long time with Peyton Manning and Tony Dungy, so I don't think there's that big of a leap to be a coach. And really, as interim, there's nothing to lose, but listening to Jim Irsay's reasoning does make me fear for the future of Colts fans.
Wanted a winning coach, a winning playoff coach, a winning coach that was proven to come in with our franchise. Now, I'm glad he doesn't have any NFL experience. I'm glad he hasn't learned the fear that's in this league. That's because it's tough for all our coaches. They're afraid. They go to analytics, and it gets difficult. I mean, he doesn't have all that. He doesn't have that fear, and there was no other candidate. We were fortunate that he was available.
Thank God. Thank God the television analyst who was doing some part-time head coaching work in high school was available to be an NFL head coach. Number 5, though, Dolphins. Okay, Miami, 5 is a nice spot to be. Your offense is great. Tua has been rock solid. We know all about Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle combining for all of the receiving yards in the NFL, and Tyreek on a trajectory to 2,000. What concerns me, especially in your division, is your defense. You're the only team in the AFC East to have given up over 200 points this season, and at 224 total, your D has given up more points than any team in the AFC. Bradley Chubb was made irrelevant by Justin Fields, but let's see what he can do against a less explosive quarterback this weekend in Jacoby Brissett.
No, I just wanted him to stop scrambling. And it was pretty irritating because he didn't listen at all. He didn't take the coaching.
Number 4, I've got the Buffalo Bills. To make a surprise loss to the Jets even worse, Josh Allen is now dealing with an elbow injury that he suffered on this play. Apparently, he has an ulnar collateral ligament injury, but even with that, he still threw the farthest pass in 6 years on the final drive. That play to Gabe Davis had 69.3 air yards of travel. Dear God. 2 weeks in a row, though, we have seen Josh Allen play more like 2019 Josh Allen than MVP caliber Josh Allen. And that's literally the only thing holding the Bills back right now. 4 picks in 2 games and a completion percentage in the low 50s. The Bills have dropped from the highest and second highest scoring offense to the 6th in total points. A big problem for Buffalo is keeping their foot on the throttle in the 4th quarter. Here's a stat that might make you sick, Buffalo. Your 36 4th quarter points scored this season are tied for 8th worst with my Broncos. Now, I want Josh Allen to be the best quarterback in the NFL. I think I actually want that more than the most loyal Bills fans because I am so sick of that son of a bitch, Patrick Mahomes owning that stupid fucking title. I want it to be Josh Allen. But until Josh Allen learns to play consistently elite football as Mahomes does, he can't have that title. If he simply eliminates dumb interceptions, he can make his case for MVP, but those picks are so obviously bad right now that he's falling to number 3 in the QB power rankings, like one Jim Kelly to Dan Marino and John Elway. That said, I think Josh Allen will always be just a little bit streaky. His style of play requires giant testicles, which he has, and I never want to see him play with fear, all right? But when you play like that, you're gonna have a couple games every year that just don't work out, especially when you choose to not lean on the run and take that pressure off your QB. Number 3, it's the Vikings. The sexiest QB on earth is now the near translucent Kirk Cousins. The Vikings have the second best record in the NFL. Damn, this is fun. The Vikings have a 4-game lead in the NFC North, are undefeated at home, and are on a 6-game win streak. Here's what I love about the Vikings. Nobody can point to them and tell you what they're really good at doing other than winning. Middle of the road in points scored, 8th fewest rushing yards this season, middle of the road in passing yards. Hell, Kirk Cousins is playing a little bit worse than he was last year in terms of touchdown rate and TD to interception ratio. However, they are not making mistakes. And when they get into the red zone, they're pretty fucking good. 20 red zone touchdowns this season. That's tied for 3rd best. And even though Minnesota doesn't have a ton of rushing yards, just 816, their 10 rushing touchdowns on the season is very good. Plus, their defense has forced 14 total turnovers, tied with the Jets for 6th best. And the offense has only coughed it up 8 times, tied for 3rd best. Throw in new tight end TJ Hawkinson, who after 1 week made the biggest impact of any player traded at the deadline. And Minnesota has plenty of runway to iron out all of the kinks before the playoffs. Number 2, it's the Chiefs. Yes, you're at 2, Kansas City. Please fuck off and lose. And number 1, I've got the Philadelphia Eagles. You are the sole remaining undefeated team, Philly. I've kept you out of the number 1 spot because at times the Bills or those son of a bitch Chiefs have looked better against better competition. But 8-0 ain't no joke. Jalen Hurts has thrown just 2 picks all season. Best in the league for any quarterback who's played all year. And in a tie with, shockingly, Daniel Jones. Unlike Daniel Jones, though, Jalen Hurts actually throws touchdowns. Hurts' passer rating on the season is 107, and nobody is happier to be in Philly than receiver A.J. Brown, who has 6 TDs this season and 11 plays for over 20 yards, which is tied for 3rd best with guys like Stephon Diggs and Cooper Kupp. Brown is probably the most efficient receiver in the NFL next to maybe Jalen Waddle. Brown's yards and touchdowns are top 5, yet his 69 targets, 17th. And 5 of the Eagles' wins have been by 2 scores, so Philly is beating the pants off of this, quote, subpar competition, and that's what good teams do. Damn it, it's time for the worst spin in all of sports, the curse wheel. Who's gonna get it? Who's getting the curse? And you better not do the Chiefs, cause you can't bring them down, you cocky son of a bitch. But if you do get them this time, ooh, number 8. The New York Giants? You got the Texans, Giants. I was wrong. It is. Number 8 is not the Giants. It's the 49ers. So this guy's getting real cocky, real ballsy. I just said the 49ers are going to be really good. But if they are bad, we have their draft pick here in Denver. So do your worst. Do your worst, little wheel. Bring them down. Give us a top 10 pick. Give us a top 10 pick. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, at Brandon Perna if you care to follow those social medias. And don't forget to check out whatever other video. I don't even remember what I make anymore. Are the Giants 8th?